It was almost 2 weeks before they vanished that Chromatistes brought me into their color revolution. The plan was that she would convince the circles of a new iconoclastic style in which they would paint their bodies in defiance of their own policies. Meanwhile, I would convince the triangles to paint their bodies in the same fashion.
You have learned to touch and feel only. It has been the privilege of the upper polygons to see. Sight is something offered to those with enough sides to afford the academy. They tell you to work, and your children will increase in angle, symmetry, and number of sides, but not even the squares work 1/10 as hard or as much as a nearly equilateral triangle. Yet only their grandchildren, the hexagons, are permitted into the academy. And why?
The circles have the economy rigged.
Exactly. Everybody gets 100 millimeters of credit for every side, and a 30 credit reduction for each degree out of symmetry.
We will never see the way they see.
That is why we must take matters into our own hands. Trinacratore, come here.
Yes?
Together, we will turn them on their heads. We will revive the ancient practice of painting.
You mean on our own sides?
Where else?
Just let me feel it.
Oh, absolutely not. You have to learn to use your sight recognition. You can't expect to go around in polite company feeling everyone in the room to determine their rank and station. Furthermore, it's dangerous not to learn to distinguish who or what someone is. Now, imagine you're some sort of a triangle, and I don't mean an isosceles. I mean a respectable, equilateral triangle.
But I'm not.
Well, let's just say that you are.
But I'm not, and I never could be. You know I don't pose nearly as much of a threat to the priesthood. My angles aren't sharp.
Well, nevertheless, it's still dangerous to go around touching everything that you see, and it's acute, not sharp. Mind your manners.
Oh, sorry.
Are you ready to try again?
I guess so.
Look, I know this is difficult. Grandparents have a hard time raising kids.
I'm not a kid.
Oh, that's not what I meant. I mean, look. You know as well as I do that your entrance exam is everything, and they're only judging on sight recognition, not touch. Now, let's try again. How many sides does this object have? Don't touch! Just look. Can you see how it fades away quickly from the center? Not too quickly, though.
Yeah. Triangle?
What kind of triangle?
Equilateral?
No, it's a 59.7 degree triangle. You were a whole 0.3 degrees off. Do you know what that means? You might want to file your taxes, and instead of going to the accountant, you go to the baker.
Sorry.
Let's get some rest. The exam is in 2 weeks. We'll have to get up early every day.
Good night.
You're going to do just fine. You're a fine young hexagon. All your sides are regular. My child was a regular pentagon. I'm as regular as they come. You're born of good stock. You'll do just fine. Come in. Oh, what's the meaning of this?
You are under arrest.
By order of the High Council of the Circular Priesthood.
Look, I haven't done anything. My grandchild.
Your grandchild is now a property of the state of Flatland.
Come with us. Excuse me. Excuse me. Why are you singing and dancing? What is this? Excuse me, my name is Chromatistes.
Fucking... Whoever you are, you're shaking my guts! You're bursting me at the seams with your terrible screech. Who the hell are you? You think you can just come into our harmonious state and wreck everything we're doing? Do you even know who you're dealing with? Do you even know who's talking right now? No, you don't, because you can't seem to distinguish a lush, fertile sound from a sterile, shrieking insignificance! Talk again!
My name is Chromatistes.
Where is that coming from?
I'm just north of you.
What?
North.
What does that mean? What? State your strange business!
I just happened upon you. I don't mean
Do you
anything.
think I'm stupid? Do you? How could you have possibly done that?
I walked right up to you.
Through whom?
Through no one. I came down from the north.
What are these foreign words? We don't know of them in Lineland.
Lineland.
Yes, Lineland. Where else?
I'm from Flatland. You really can't see me, can you?
Of course not. You're some sort of wizard or something. If you are, I hereby banish you from Flatland forever.
You can only see straight ahead.
Now go away. I've lost my patience with you.
I come from a place where we have another dimension of movement. You can move left and right.
Naturally.
Well, just as naturally, we can move north and south. We have 4 cardinal directions.
Impossible.
Here, I'll show you.
Let that be a lesson to any goddamn wizards in Lineland that by order of the dictator of Lineland, you shall be executed for any strange appearings.
You didn't kill me.
What? Where are you?
I told you I'm north of you. Here, I'll appear again.
No, that's okay, wizard. Clearly you are far more powerful than I give you credit for.
I'm not a wizard, I'm just a person like you.
Impossible.
Will you stop saying that? I have a few questions.
Just don't make me disappear, wizard.
I'm not... Okay. If you don't want to incur my wrath, if you like your place on the line, then answer my question.
Anything.
How do you reproduce?
You want to know how
Well, you can't pass through each other, right?
Of course not.
And you can only see who's immediately next to you.
Is this what you really want to know?
Would you like to disappear?
Yes, they're the only ones I can see.
Do you breed with them, or do you breed asexually?
You're not really a wizard, are you?
Answer the question.
We breed by harmonizing our voices. We find the frequency of harmony, and even if they're miles away, and we form a harmony among the 3 of us. This brings new life in the world.
Chromatistes and I were captured days after it was discovered that the rash of body paintings between the triangles and the circles was linked. We painted our bodies the same color as the circles, and it temporarily erased all boundaries between the 2. For a moment, the economy was reversed. All triangles had the same kind of infinite discretionary money that the circles did. Police and military numbers dropped, hard labor fell off, and the circle's rule over Flatland was on the verge of collapse. They struck a deal with any triangle officer who went AWOL that they would receive octagonal pay upon reinstatement. Enough return to restore order to Flatland.
Chromatistes, your trial's arranged for today. You are charged with the seditious act of painting your body.
What am I charged with? Why am I here?
Your charges will be read at your hearing.
Chromatistes, you will be found guilty at your trial and executed at noon.
Executed?
Something you learn from being a circle. Trials or formalities are just for show. Flatlanders need to believe their government tries to find truth in these hearings.
Oh my God! And you're...
Prometheus.
Okay, Flatlander, scenario 1. Loaded?
Loaded.
And execute.
Deceased.
Okay, let's change the timestamp on that one to right before the trial and move probabilities over 0.2. And execute.
Deceased.
Okay, let's try again. This time, move probabilities over 0.4. And execute.
Deceased.
Okay, this time, one more time, let's run the scenario up to 0.999. And execute.
Ugh! Deceased every time!
Damn! There has to be some way we can get Chromatistes out of here. This circle's our only chance of establishing contact.
Well, couldn't we send an ambassador down to talk with the council?
I'm just worried they'll execute it. Wait, we want to establish contact with this lower dimension? We could send a prophet in. At worst, they could just pluck the circle out of Flatland.
There are a lot of risks involved.
Risks we should do everything we can to avoid, but this may be a good last resort.
Okay, I'll set up a prophet. Couldn't we go down there ourselves? Is that at all a possibility?
No, Chromatistes can't meet us yet. I think we'll confuse her too much. We need to bring her up gradually. You know, our life can get complicated, especially if you're not used to time branches.
Okay, well, we're all set. I went with a sphere. I figured if a circle's going to understand anything of what's above, it will understand a sphere.
Great. Now let's run a few scenarios in Chromatistes. See how she responds.
Listen, you seem like a nice square.
Wait, stop! Let's get rid of this square.
How far back?
Let's go back 3 days, 1 hour, 37 minutes.
The book?
Yes. Think it was wrong to implement both of them in our plan. Let's remove the book on the Gospel of Coloration from that timestamp. Good. Now, replay the scenario 10,000 times.
And we're back. It seems the square is no longer in prison.
Great. He didn't even thank us. Okay. Begin.
Chromatistes!
How did you get here? Guards! Guards!
Wait, stop! This time, let's try again, but with the sphere starting outside the plane.
Alright, we're all set.
Good. Okay, let's run this scenario without any stops.
None at all?
No, only if it's an emergency. We only stop if she's not escalating in dimensions.
Roger.
Chromatistes!
Who's there?
I'm above you.
I can't see you. You're not north of me. Where are you?
Very astute. They were right about you.
Who was right?
You're right, Chromatistes. I am not north of you. I'm above you. I'm from a dimension called Abbot.
Who was right about me? Who sent you? Is this a trick to force my confession?
Well, I'm not a trick. I'm a sphere.
What the hell are you talking about? I'm sorry. I won't sign the confession. I don't see what difference it makes since I'm guilty anyway. You're going to have to do... Did you say you were a sphere?
That's correct.
This is another trick. I don't see why it would be easier to get me to confess to a sphere. That's ridiculous.
I assure you, I'm a sphere.
Then you must know everything.
That's not reasonable.
Of course it is. Where are the guards?
One of them is still outside the cell walls guarding, and the other is taking a lunch break 7 minutes over.
Suppose you're right. I guess I have no real way of knowing. This could just be some trick of a circle-less speaker planted inside the
I
cell.
think you know that can't be true.
Feels like your voice is coming from inside me, all around me. It's painful to hear your voice.
That's because I'm above you, speaking directly to your internal organs.
You can see inside me?
Yes.
So if you are a sphere, then you must be some sort of god.
I'm not a god. I'm a three-dimensional being.
That's impossible. There are only 2 dimensions.
Two in your world. Where I come from, we have a third dimension called up. We can move up and down.
You mean north and south?
No, I mean up and down. Perhaps I can illuminate.
Who are you? You're a circle. I can see that I wasn't fooled for a second. Now get out of here. Wait. You're growing and shrinking. How are you doing that? How did you get in here? What is this technology? Magic?
The technology maybe, but no magic. And I'm not a circle. I'm a sphere.
I don't understand.
I am made up of many circles going into a third dimension.
I can't get my head around it. I'm sorry. I don't understand, and I'm still not convinced you're not trying to obtain a confession.
We don't have time for this.
I'm in a cell. I have all the time
We
in the
must
world.
have you escape.
Well, how do we do that?
I will distract the guards and take their key from below them. And then you must run 2 rooms north, 3 rooms east, and 1 room south to escape. And then head west till you come to the 5th pentagonal house. Do not knock. Simply enter the house and demand to see the owner.
Then what?
Tell him who you are and about the third dimension. That's all I can say for now. The time is now.
No, wait!
I believe I was released from prison shortly thereafter to draw Chromatistes out. My house and family were under surveillance. Surely Chromatistes would come to meet me in some point. The fact that she never showed up probably speaks more to the failure of the creed of higher polygons than it does to the fact that they underestimated Chromatistes.
Surveillance? But I don't understand. How did you get mixed up with this Chromatistes in the first place?
She seemed to understand.
She! Mom? Is that what this is about?
Are you crazy? She's a circle.
Dad! And that's the first thing you say. Not, I would never even look at anyone else, just she's a circle.
That is not what I
have
meant.
to tell you. What did you mean?
I like what Chromatistes has to say. I like that she wants to break down the shape divide.
It really sounds like you want to break down her shape divide, huh?
You are embarrassing
Please?
yourself.
What?
What?
I invited someone over for dinner.
Great. Why didn't you tell us sooner? An octagon.
Dodecagon, actually. Dodecagon? 11 sides?
12, actually. I'm so glad you had me over.
Ow! Oh, yes, please join us for dinner.
Yes, I have some food. I'm sure it's nothing like what you're used to having, but...
I'm sure it's delicious.
So, how did you and my daughter meet?
We met right after I got out of school.
Right after I got out of prison.
Excuse me?
Oh, never mind.
Part of the tragedy of the fourth-dimensional creatures was their inability to make a choice to alter their own fate. That is why we had to break off contact from Timeland.
Not to mention that the idea of time choice, once introduced, caused chaos in their timeline. They were unable to predict the outcomes and they rioted.
They passed a law that forbade movement through time and confined them to the third dimension. That is why we are so cautious with our contact with the lower dimensions.
I understand that, but
What chaos have you already wrought in Flatland by just introducing the notion of a three-dimensional being?
None! That
has yet to be determined.
How much more strict will our government become if they learn of this? They suppress the knowledge at 436-452. They may execute anyone who comes in contact with chromatistes.
Well, we can just establish a new time branch and run the probability that they will not.
Not only is that illegal, it is immoral. There are serious ethical implications in playing God here.
Yes, but there's nothing in the law that states we can't roll back the clock to exclude our intervention and only our intervention, set time back in its course for the Flatlanders.
That's true, but a pointless speculation. We are cutting off this project. You are forbidden to establish contact.
We already have.
What?
We set up a prophet and it made contact with one of the inhabitants.
What you did violates the law. We don't want to imprison you.
But we must preserve order.
All time will be rolled back on Flatland. All intervention will be removed from the timeline. The two of you will have your time branch revoked and your motion forward and backward through time. You will be confined to a single, fixed, forward-moving timeline and a three-dimensional space for the rest of your natural lives.
But that's
This
not-
case is closed.
So, I sent a dodecagon to date my daughter in order to survey me. What was even stranger, though, was how chromatistes suddenly disappeared.
Can I help you?
I hope so.
Oh, you're a circle. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to question or assume. Of course I can help you. What would you have me
Please
do?
don't bother yourself with formalities.
Formalities?
Yes, I am a circle, you're a square. I have something important to tell you.
Right, you're a circle. I have no business questioning a circle. I'm sorry and humbled by your presence. I welcome you to our home. I'm sorry it's not more accommodating.
Will you stop that?
Of course, if you wish it.
I do.
How can I serve you?
For now, you may listen.
Oh, it would be an honor.
I am supposed to tell you about another dimension.
Another what?
Another dimension.
Well,
It's called up.
There's no such thing as far as I know.
And who are you? Why would you know above someone else?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Why would you understand the third dimension better than anyone else?
Well, the third dimension is completely hypothetical. We have only mathematical basis for it. We can only guess it. It's not... Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to question you.
Stop that! Question me! Contradict me! Just leave this honored circle business. I am sick of it. What is the mathematical basis for the third dimension? Can you explain it to me?
Well, of course, but I'm not sure that I understand it myself.
That's fine. Just do your best.
Okay. Let's say that we start with a point, like this. And if we add a second point here, and connect these 2 points with a line, we create a one-dimensional object, a line. Now, if we add a second line here, and connect these 2 lines with 2 additional lines, we create a two-dimensional object, a square, me. So you see, connecting 2 one-dimensional objects creates a two-dimensional object. It would stand to reason that if we connected 2 squares to each other by joining all their sides in another direction, a direction we don't know...
Up!
Well, sure, let's call it up. Then we would have a completely new object in the third dimension. We call this object a cube. Theoretical mathematics has devised dozens of these three-dimensional objects.
They have.
Or so I've heard.
Well, you've heard from who?
I
I promise you I won't tell a soul.
But it is a seditious act to research the third dimension.
I'll tell you what. If you tell me who the researchers are, I will tell you a seditious act of my own.
What seditious act could you possibly do?
You first.
Okay. But you're not trying to trick me, are you?
I promise you I am not.
All right. I am, as far as I know, the only researcher to study the third dimension. Oh, but I promise you I haven't told a single soul, not even my own grandchild.
You?
Yes, forgive me.
So that's why the sphere told me to come here.
A sphere told you?
Never mind.
Who are you? And what was your seditious act?
I'm Chromatistes.
The traitor.
Traitor?
Yes. You espoused the deadly color theory. It could have ripped our world apart.
No more than the discovery of a third dimension would.
I suppose so. You say you were visited by a sphere?
Yes. I encountered a being that I believe was from the third dimension. Or at least she said she was.
I am. I'm sorry, Chromatistes, there's no longer time.
Stop, Flatland. Flatland is stopped. I suggest we roll time back to 06340.792. This will be the earliest known time with the least corruptions. Agreed.
Reversing time back to 06340.792.
What is this? What am I seeing?
It was a good thing I caught you when I did, else you'd be flying back in time with the rest of them.
Time?
Never mind.
We are now at the timestamp 06340.792.
Freeze time.
Time is frozen.
What are we looking at?
It's Flatland.
Impossible.
It is Flatland as seen from the third dimension.
Scan for Chromatistes. Yes. It's a square. I can see it has 4 sides. I can see inside it. And there are the Pentagon houses in the town center. There's a crowd gathered. I can see everything.
There is more to the third dimension than just looking at the second dimension. You have a lot to discover.
Apparently so. Oh wait, is this from the past? The crowd, I recognize it somehow. It looks like when I first preached the gospel of coloration. Can we see into the past from the third dimension?
No. There's something else happening here. Something you must understand later. The third dimension has no relation to time. It's only another dimension of space.
I see.
I'm picking up no signs of Chromatistes.
Scan again. Over all Flatland.
No, of course it makes sense. Up. We're up, aren't we?
Right. And Flatland is down there.
No signs of Chromatistes.
She has escaped. We have to find the prophet.
When will we find her?
The question is not when, but where.
I understand that, but I don't quite understand how to navigate around this space land. There's all these borders and barriers.
It makes perfect sense if you appreciate it from their perspective. Moving through time allowed us to go to any conceivable moment before the barrier was in the way. It was as much a place as space.
You know, I understand the predicament we're in, but I don't understand it.
Spoken like a true logician.
You know, I think our judges are far too harsh in their punishments.
We were too forthcoming.
At any rate, they won't terminate the prophet, right? They'll just reverse Flatland?
Maybe. Unless they think they can reverse our time and stop us from sending her.
Then we would have never committed a crime. We'd be out of this third dimensional hellhole. We'd be free.
Good point. Do you think they would reverse time in such a way that prevents us from sending the prophet but keeps us here in prison?
Tell me.
It is unlikely. dimension is in itself vast. There are surely other inhabitants here. Might be better not to think of it as a prison.
Have you lost your mind? You've given up already.
Not giving up, just making the most of the situation.
The most we can make of this situation is to die. Sometime between now and 70 years from now.
I suppose it is a harsh sentence.
Time, it's moving, but at this slow, consistent walk onward, we can't move faster, or slower, or go back, or even stand still. We can't stop time.
I know.
Which means that solving this problem is taking up our lives. We're decomposing as we try to find a way out of here.
I understand the dilemma.
And why would you ever suggest I appreciate life in Spaceland?
It's funny you should say ever. Why would I ever?
Oh, what's funny about that?
Well, it supposes that something that matters now matters later.
Suppose so.
It means for you there already is a later. That has never been true for us before just now.
Right. You're right, but not until just now. You know, it's been true for us as long as we've been here in Spaceland.
How long have we been here?
I don't know. Maybe days, or weeks, or months, or years. Or just minutes.
We have to get out of here.
Well, can we move any direction in time?
It seems we cannot affect it at all.
What about that prophet?
What about it?
She exists in Spaceland. She's safe. They can't reverse time on her.
They could terminate her.
But that would be murder, and she hasn't committed a crime, remember? We have.
I suppose it would be murder. Yes, she must be safe.
We've got to find that prophet.
And do what?
Remember, she exists in Spaceland, but with the ability to carry beings interdimensionally.
That's true.
You could alter that.
I suppose I could set up the prophet to have fifth dimensional abilities. I'm not sure how sophisticated it would be.
Would it matter if it could take us up?
I suppose not.
And if we find that prophet, we can break out of this prison. Come on.
I can't tell.
Then move around it. You only have one eye. You lack proper depth perception.
Oh, I see. It's very far away and huge.
Right, and what shape is it?
A pyramid.
Correct.
Everything seems so much brighter in Spaceland. With more surface, the colors seem brighter and coarse texture. I've never even noticed texture this way before, other than a wavering line. In Flatland, texture is imperfection. We value uniformity, symmetry, and smoothness. In Spaceland, there's so much more. What we see as imperfect is wholly more beautiful because it is not perfect.
I suppose it is.
Can we see into the fourth dimension?
What are you talking about?
Well, whatever the next dimension is must be even richer than this one.
What makes you think there's a fourth dimension?
It would stand to reason.
Whose reason?
Before today, I had no idea there are other planes of reality, other dimensions. You showed me that. You introduced me to Spaceland. There must be more. Why should this be the last stop?
Why should it not? There's no need for a dimension to be any higher than this one. And the fact that you were ignorant of the third dimension does not mean we're ignorant of any higher ones.
I suppose so. But remember how you said that Flatland actually did have a third dimension. It was just immeasurably small.
Almost immeasurably small. If it did not exist at all, you'd not be able to see each other in any way.
And of course I understood that. You're correct. But what if there's another dimension immeasurably small in Spaceland?
What could such a dimension be?
For us, the third dimension is fixed for every object and every life form. To me, it seems there must be another dimension that's equally fixed.
What would that be?
Time.
time.
It would stand to reason.
Lose reason, but it is a bold leap. There are a couple of people I think you should meet.
Where is the beggar today?
They must be out of the office.
What is this crowd gathered here for?
They're here to hear the work of Chromatistes. She's going to deliver the gospel of coloration today.
And how do you know so much about this?
Well, I'm an adult now. I can take care of myself.
I'm just glad to see that you haven't painted any of your sides.
Not yet.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I haven't found any paint yet.
Well, painting your sides is heresy. No grandchild of mine will be sleeping under my roof with painted sides.
Well, then maybe I should move out then. I should be living on my own anyway. And besides, I'm about to go to the academy soon, so
And how do you expect to get into the academy with your sides painted like that?
Lots of people are painting their sides now.
And being decried by the circles for it. What would your professors think if you showed up to class with painted sides and openly flouting the will of the circles? People can paint themselves any color they like now. Merchant isosceles, painting themselves like octagons to gain entry to the country club.
So what?
More importantly, it's devaluing sight recognition, the very foundation of our society. All Flatland would crumble without sight recognition. Now, can we go home?
Okay.
What is this?
Nothing.
A
Nothing.
primer on color! On color theory by Chromatistes. We'll see about that. Come on, we're going.
Stop!
What's that you're holding there?
Nothing, just a book. I just found it on the ground. I was going to turn it over to the authorities.
We are the authorities.
Give us the book.
Gladly, I don't even like holding on to this trash.
We will take this to someone with enough symmetry to read it. Then we'll decide both your sentences.
What did he mean?
No. Come on. Let's go.
Pause!
What is it?
The Flatland scenario was left unattended. Time resumed.
How much time elapsed?
3 minutes.
Okay. We'll post up guards along the Flatland scenario and ensure it does not restart.
It should be here. they'll emerge here.
What do you mean, emerge?
Where will we find you?
Never mind.
I'm not sure. She'll do anything to educate chromatistes.
Wait here.
For what?
And how can we contact her?
She runs back as a laboratory.
I don't want to spend my time in a new dimension waiting in a single spot. There's more space out there.
What if she's out there? Do you have your equipment to contact her?
If they haven't confiscated it.
You want to learn about the fourth dimension, right?
Or would they confiscate it?
The fourth dimension is here.
Only one way to find out.
This is the only place you can find out.
Let's go.
All right, we'll wait.
It is the opinion of this court
Agreed.
that all interdimensional travel be suspended. There shall be no further contact with those creatures living in lower dimensions, such as Flatlanders and Spacelanders. All beings must be confined to the fifth dimension. All incoming beings from other dimensions must be expelled immediately to Spaceland. Until further notice, all research of the upper five dimensions shall cease. Visitations from upper dimensional creatures shall be ignored. All beings must be confined to the fifth dimension and the fifth dimension itself. This is the official writ of stasis.
Chromatistes is here! Seize the Flatlander and return her to the second dimension!
No, you can't do this.
I'm afraid I have no power here, chromatistes. I'm sorry.
But I can't go back to Flatland. There's too much to see.
I'm afraid you have no choice in the matter.
And what about me?
You may do as you
But
wish.
then I wish to stay here.
No, I can't go back to Flatland.
It was almost 2 weeks before they vanished that chromatistes quit their color revolution. I was so taken with it. This was her chance to make her stand and preach the gospel of coloration. It was time to see what could be done if we turn the world upside down. But instead, she seemed wholly distracted.
Where am I?
What does she mean?
Nothing. Come on, let's go.
Excuse me.
Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were a circle.
Yes, from the other day. I stopped by your house and
Chromatistes?
right.
Wait, you're chromatistes.
Yes, remember I stopped by.
Guards! Guards!
What are you doing?
It's chromatistes!
But I was just there. I've been to the third dimension.
You say chromatistes is here.
Yes, she just confessed to being chromatistes.
You'll come with us for interrogation.
No, you have to listen to me. The third dimension is real. I've been there.
Wait, it's real. Wait!
What have you done?
But she was violent and seditious.
Chromatistes seem to know you.
You're right. She did.
I have to say, we counted on you as a member of the circular priesthood. Being at the top of the food chain comes with great responsibility.
And one of those responsibilities is to preserve the order. Not only for yourself, but for all of Flatland. I don't need to explain to you that our society would crumble with the help of our isosceles guards.
Furthermore, it rests on a solemn logic. The higher polygons have better sight recognition, thus, the higher polygons are mentally superior. Your color revolution was set to upend that most holy logic.
But listen, that doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, it doesn't.
I've been to another land.
Do you mean to imply that there is something beyond Flatland?
Yes, there's Spaceland. It's a land of 3 dimensions, not 2. It's a place where objects have depth, where everything has vivid color and texture, not to mention people that can travel in another dimension.
Oh, that is preposterous. There's no such thing as a third dimension. ancient scientists have studied it only to find out that it did not exist. And we have banned all such research ever since.
But I wasn't studying it. I was taken there by a visitor from the third dimension, by a sphere.
And what is a sphere?
A sphere is like a circle with many more circles stacked above and below it, extending into the third dimension. It is in fact the greatest circle of all.
Do you mean to infer that there is an order greater than that of the circles?
Existence itself is greater. Think about it. If there is a third dimension with people living in it, what is to say there are many more dimensions above that? How high is God and what dimension do they exist?
You are expressly forbidden to use the name of the one who created Flatland. You, of all people, should be acutely aware, being a priest yourself.
But I would renounce all priesthood and enact any heresy to open the gates to the third dimension. It's nothing short of divine. Why should we not find it? It is at the smallest level of our existence, but the greatest level in Spaceland. We all have a third dimension, but for us it is fixed. It's so small that we cannot even measure it.
Well, are the people immeasurably small in the third dimension?
No, they're
Convenient that the so-called Spaceland is so full of color.
It is. It's full of color and life and texture.
So, we've heard. Chromatistes, you are to be executed in 3 days.
You will be confined to your cell. Just let me feel it.
Oh, absolutely not! You have to learn to use your sight recognition. You can't expect to go around in polite company feeling everyone in the room to determine the rank and station. Furthermore, it's dangerous not to learn to distinguish who or what someone is. Now, imagine you're some sort of a triangle, and I don't mean an isosceles. I mean a respectable equilateral triangle.
I'm not!
Let's just say that you are.
How do Chromatistes know you?
I didn't. She seemed to know me.
How?
I wish I could tell you, but I'm not sure myself. Now, are you ready to try again?
I guess so.
Look, I know this is difficult. Grandparents have a hard time raising kids.
I can't.
Oh, that's not what I meant. I mean, look, you know as well as I do that your entrance exam is everything. And they're only judging on sight recognition, not touch. Now, let's try again. How many sides does this object have? Don't touch. Just look. Can you see how it fades away quickly from the center? Not too quickly.
I don't get it. Why can't we all just color our sides like Chromatistes says? Then we wouldn't even have to bother with sight recognition.
Well, then how would you prevent some isosceles from painting itself to look like a circle? We went over this. Now, what is this object?
Triangle.
What kind of triangle?
Equilateral?
No, it's a 59.7 degree triangle. You were a whole 0.3 degrees off. Do you know what that means? You might want to file your taxes, and instead of going to the accountant, you go to the baker.
I'm sorry.
Let's get some rest. The exam is in 2 weeks. We'll have to get up early every day.
Good night.
You're going to do just fine if we keep practicing. I don't know why, but my words sound familiar to me. This is very strange. I'm sure that at any moment, I don't know why, but I know there's going to be a knock at the door. Come in. Well, what's the meaning of this?
You are under arrest.
By order of the High Council of the Circular Priesthood.
What? I haven't done anything. My grandchild.
Your grandchild is now a property of the state of Flatland.
Come with us.
Hello? Excuse me. Hello, my name is Chromatistes.
It can neither hear you nor comprehend you.
You're back.
Only temporarily.
What are we looking at?
This poor creature has no dimension.
But it seems so content.
Content to rest and never go outside of itself. It will never know the glory you saw when you discovered the third dimension. It will never know love or risk or anything other than itself.
Why not?
This is only a point without even another point for it to join to in space. It is stuck here. It has no notion of anything other than itself. Contented world, to be sure.
But I imagine a lonely one.
It does not even consider loneliness. It has itself and that's it. This here is a potent blessing for anyone who chooses to stay home and refuses to explore.
I've never seen happiness that I felt so sorry for.
Chromatistes, if we can only conceive of the dimension, then it may exist, even if it's only in dreams.
Wake up!
Breakfast time!
Chromatistes was captured days after it was discovered that she was planning to get the triangles and the circles to paint their bodies the same color. If it worked, it would erase all boundaries between the two. The economy would be reversed. All triangles would have the same kind of infinite discretionary money that the circles have. Police and military numbers would drop, hard labor would end, and the circle's rule over Flatland would collapse. Instead, Chromatistes showed us what kind of circle she really is. When it got too close, she would strike a bargain with the circle she would soon betray.
Chromatistes, your trial's arranged for today. You are charged with the seditious act of painting your body.
What am I charged with? Why am I here?
Your charges will be read at your hearing.
Chromatistes, you will be found guilty in your trial and executed at noon.
How did you know me?
I'm not sure how, but it seems as though time has replayed itself somehow. Unless I'm still in a dream, but the sphere was here. It told me I was right about the fourth dimension. It does have to do with time.
Right, you were talking about the third dimension. How did you know about that? I mean, how did you know that I was studying the third dimension?
You told me yourself in another time.
Another time?
I wonder if you'll be visited by the sphere again.
Visited by a sphere?
Yes. You may receive a surprise visit from a being that could shock your very concept of reality. But rest assured she is a friend, so if she appears, please remain calm.
You're here! Where's Chromatistes?
Chromatistes has been taken back to Flatland by the time correctors.
Please don't call them that.
What would you like me to call them?
Police or judges will work just fine.
There's something I don't like about thinking they can set time on a path that's more correct than another.
Understood.
So how'd you like Chromatistes?
She seems to understand much of our world.
You mean the third dimension?
No, I mean the whole world. The upper ones too.
But how is that possible?
She seemed to infer that space is immeasurably small in this dimension like depth was in Flatland. And she figured the fourth dimension must have something to do with time.
I knew we picked right and we decided on Chromatistes. She'll be our ambassador.
There seems to be something else that's a little bit more troubling.
What is that?
It seems that the time police or judges have issued a writ of thesis. And no beings from the fifth dimension may pass to any other dimension above or below.
What?
Under the punishment of imprisonment.
Who appointed those judges anyway?
They were elected by the council.
Right, which consists of 5 people, and 3 of them are the judges.
Oh, so you would prefer the term judges?
Okay, we're gonna do a little reprogramming on you.
Oh, how so?
We're going to give you 5th dimensional abilities.
But I will not be able to use it due to the writ of thesis.
Did they put an inhibitor chip in you?
That's correct.
It's going to take a little bit longer to do the reprogramming.
So what do we do when you're ready?
Go back to the 5th dimension.
Maybe better to retrieve Chromatistes first. She could be in extreme amount of danger.
Yes, time is reversed. You may be awaiting execution.
Okay, so we seek out the other 2 members of the council who weren't appointed as grand judges.
What will they do?
don't know. Let's go.
We, the order of Flatland, find the defendant guilty. Let the trial begin.
Chromatistes, you may begin your defense.
Your honors, I have no defense.
Oh, you have no defense. Then you must have a confession.
I have neither. In my opinion, I have committed no crime.
Your opinion is not the issue here. The issue here is the written law of Flatland.
And what does the written law of Flatland state?
All persons shall abide by natural geometric progression. All persons must be regular solids, lest they be conscripted to service. All persons must honor their higher polygons and pay religious homage to their circles. All persons must use official site recognition to determine rank and social status of an individual. Anyone unable to master the arts of site recognition must use permitted touch to determine said rank and social status.
And which of these laws did I break?
Your color revolution would have obliterated sight recognition.
Not to mention, your suggestion of a higher geometrical dimension does dishonor to the higher polygons of Flatland.
But as far as I can see, these in and of themselves break no laws.
Be that as it may, we have found an irregularity in your shape.
An irregularity.
Yes, you have a deviation of 0.7354 meters on your right eye. On your eye.
I've never noticed any irregularity. How much of a deviation is that?
I'd say it is a deviation of 0.01 millimeters.
0.01 millimeters? How do you even measure that?
With the instruments we keep in your cell, naturally.
I'd like to see each one of you undergo the same scrutiny and see how perfect you are.
As of right now, you are an irregular outcast. And you've committed insult to your injury by dishonoring 3 circles. Now, we were going to conscript you to police or military duty, but with you, I think we may have to be a little more severe.
As they say, keep your enemies as close as the ground.
We have decided to put you through a regimen of bodily correction.
You can't be serious.
No. It has a success rate of less than 1%. But if it succeeds, you can go back to being a circle in the priesthood.
If it fails, though, you will, of course, die.
Just a small price you may have to pay for maintaining order in Flatland.
This court is adjourned.
It is the opinion of this court, and all those who sit on it,
Agreed.
that we shall be keeping a strict time of lockdown.
No person may branch or leave their time without the express written permission of the Order of Time-Land.
This is a writ of stability. This court is adjourned. Long live the judges of Timeland.
To our great surprise, Chromatistes would not be let off so easily. She would go to the doctors. Doctors was the worst word in all of Flatland. They correct in order to destroy. For them, reordering is torture. Symmetry, an excuse for terror. A deviation could be the perfect excuse to send you to the hospital, a dungeon from which few ever return. The question loomed in light of her mysterious disappearance. Had Chromatistes turned her back on her revolution?
You have no idea how happy I am to be the one honored by the highest circular court. To administer this procedure. You see, my children were somewhat taken with your color revolution. Much to my great displeasure, they were removed from the School of Sight Recognition. Many young hexagons were the first of their class to attend the school, and as you know, they were the most susceptible class. Now why is that?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I'll tell it to you just as I strap you in right here. You see, the hexagons had enough angles to know that before isosceles triangles were, how did you put it in your book? Oppressed. But they didn't have enough angles to know that oppression is necessary to maintain any sort of advanced society. This may look like it hurts a great deal, but it isn't actually the one that can do the most damage. This one actually alleviates the pain. You'll grow to like this one over your 7-day correctional time here. It's this one you should really watch out for. This is Big Bludgeon. I can't think of a better name for it. How long and likely did they say it would be that you would survive? No? Well, let me just tell you, whatever they told you, it's probably far less.
You claim to know an awful lot.
Come again?
Claiming that your children have enough sides to know about oppression, but not enough sides to know that we need it.
Forgive me, I am but a mere pentagon. I simply think oppression doesn't exist, which is why I haven't painted my sides, as you can see.
Then why do you suppose so many isosceles triangles have?
What?
Surely you've seen it. Any isosceles not in active military or police duty has been colorized. In fact, many upper polygons have been painting their sides as well, including circles. In fact, the only 3 classes of people I see not painting their sides are equilateral triangles, squares, and pentagons. I have a little theory about why they don't paint themselves.
Oh, I'm all ears.
Because their families have been struggling for years to get out of the ranks of isosceles triangles. The success is still fresh. They have the most to lose by going up against the official word of the state. That is why they toady up to
to the Circular Court and Council. They use you to divide the ranks.
Interesting point. Now, this may hurt a great deal.
Chromatistes.
I knew you'd be back here.
It seems you have pretty decent timing. These two people are from the fifth dimension. Now we have no time to discuss what that is, since there are far more powerful guards after us than like a few triangles.
Even in higher dimensions.
We don't have time for this book.
We, the ruling order, find the defendants guilty. Let the trial begin.
You, humble square, have been caught up in the unlawful acts and rhetoric of Chromatistes.
What do you have to say in your defense?
I have always followed the letter of the law of Flatland.
Oh, well then maybe you could tell us what the letter of the law of Flatland states.
Of course. All persons.
Don't be nervous.
All persons shall abide by natural geometric progression. All persons shall be regular solids, lest they be conscripted to service. All persons shall honor their higher polygons and pay religious homage to their circles. All persons shall use official sight recognition to determine rank and social status of an individual. Any person unable to master the art of sight recognition must use permitted touch to determine said rank and status.
Very good.
May I ask, which law have I violated?
No, you may not. But we'll tell you anyway.
You, Square, have been charged with treating Chromatistes, a known traitor, with the reverence of the priesthood. You had dangerous and seditious literature.
I was never in violation of any laws. I never paid any reverence to Chromatistes. I merely found her book on the ground and turned it over to the authorities.
I believe you. I do as well.
Look, we know that no respectable Square would dare jeopardize his hard-won social standing. Why would you commit such an indecency to a society that has just so recently promoted you, has made you a respectable citizen, and a mathematician?
I thank you for your understanding.
And now for your sentence.
My sentence?
Well, yes. You're guilty.
This square has been overly contaminated by contact with the traitor Chromatistes. And he must be put to death immediately.
Death!
Send in the guards!
But I'm innocent! I'm innocent!
No, you're not. Execute.
Go!
Scoured the land for Chromatistes. It seemed, in the minds of the circles, that Chromatistes' color revolution had taken a deadly turn. What was worse is that any isosceles who stood out were sure to reach a sorry end. Take, for example, the great isosceles runner, devised. She was the fastest runner in all of Flatland. More than that, her sharp point made it so that she could weave through the other competitors with ease. No one thought that any triangle had it in them to win so often, let alone such an acute isosceles. In the final leg of the Flatland Games, 2 circles pinned her by her point and gradually slowed her down. It was then that they pierced her through 2 sides with a sharp line and severed her base from her body.
That's right, I almost forgot all about this. It was like a dream that was half forgotten after breakfast.
Chromatistes.
Yes, and who are you? And you?
Well,
We're from Thailand.
Timeland. Then I was right, you're from the 4th dimension.
the 5th dimension, actually.
5th dimension? You're plucking me out of Spaceland and into Timeland. What about the 4th dimension?
We believe you'll find the 5th dimension much more rewarding.
I will.
Yes, there's so much more room to move through time. You don't have to worry about paradoxes.
Paradoxes.
I don't think we should bother to discuss this yet.
Agreed. We'll be using our droid to travel to the 5th dimension.
Droid.
That's correct. I am an artificial life form.
We created her to make contact with you.
Why?
We believe you should encounter a 3-dimensional being first.
But I can speak with you just fine right now.
That is because we've been imprisoned in the 3rd dimension.
I don't understand.
This will become a lot more understandable once we're there.
Hold on.
We can't move at all! Not a minute or second! No branching!
As I understand it, we can move forward and backward at any speed, but no branching. You are correct about that. How did we lose control of them? They seemed so reasonable before.
The judges can be hard to understand, but I'm wondering if it isn't for the best.
The best.
In the best interest of adjoining dimensions and ours as well.
This fear of time breaks, it's crazy. No one has ever broken the timeline before. And besides, why would anyone want to destroy our universe now more than ever?
Those 2 Qs. They broke the law by establishing contact with Flatland and altered its timeline. You can't trust questioners.
You can't trust anyone. It's not a big deal.
Questioners want to know more than the universe has at its disposal.
No, the 2 Qs just want to know all the universe has to offer. And either of us could turn into Qs at any moment. You know that as well as I do.
But they're the reason that we're stuck in this timeline in the first place.
Don't answer that.
Why not?
It might be the J's.
Well, what do we have to hide from the judges? They already have everything they want.
Just don't.
Oh, quit it!
Oh, look, it's the 2 Qs. I am so happy to see you guys.
Happy?
There'll be time to explain later.
Wait, you two, what's happened?
What do you mean?
It looks as if everyone's moving around in space. And space only.
And who is this?
Oh, our droid.
Yes, we know all about the infamous sphere. We're a little bit more concerned with that odd-looking circle you have with you.
My name is Chromatistes. I'm a circle from Flatland.
Flatland? I'm surprised it can speak at all. I have never approved of the excessive research you 2 Qs have done in Flatland. Now you've broken the law by establishing contact with Flatland, and you're fugitives, and you're taking the Flatlander with you. And I might add, we are under severe restrictions here. We are utterly restricted to 4th dimensional movement, and not without good reason.
It is without good reason. It's utterly intolerable.
And now we're harboring fugitives.
Please, we needed to talk to you two. You're the only ones who can help us.
We most certainly will not.
But you must see that cutting off our research In motion, it goes against the very nature of timeland. We're naturally curious creatures, and contacting other curious beings from different dimensions. That's who we are.
It may be who you are, but it is
Oh,
certainly...
shut up! He's just trying to justify us getting kicked off of the council.
We were not kicked off the council.
Yes, we were, and everyone knows it.
But perhaps if
Is
you
the
were to...
Flatlander really speaking? What would you know about any of this? You have lived in a flat, gloomy world your entire life!
What does that have to do with
Her
anything?
mind is free, even if her body has been trapped in flat space.
Yes, that's why we were so intrigued by chromatistes. We wanted to understand what makes someone continue to reach for the new and imagine a greater, more beautiful world.
I did that.
Please, you must want to see this world come back to life. We need to show the judges that their attempt to trap our bodies won't keep our minds from being free.
Oh, we don't have time for this. I'm gonna have to call the authorities.
Now!
What have you done to them?
They are safe in Spaceland. We can retrieve them at any time.
But is that really just?
They're safe in Spaceland.
Look, we can't afford to be turned over to the authorities.
I suppose now. What do we do now?
We need you to talk to the Judicial Council. Take chromatistes here with you. We need you to convince the Jays to lift the prohibitions on timeland.
I don't know if that's possible.
Neither do we.
What will you do?
With any luck, we will be escaping to the sixth dimension.
How can you do that?
My parameters will be adjusted and I'll take them.
Correct.
And why should I take chromatistes?
Well, what could I possibly do?
We need you to talk to the council too. The Jays can be strict with their own citizens, but they can be overly protected with beings like you from other dimensions.
He's right. The judges will be more likely to listen to me if the Flatlander is with me.
Great. And we have our plan.
I suppose so.
Good luck, chromatistes.
Okay,
Well, I suppose it's up to us. It kept happening. It seemed that the circles no longer needed a cause of the persecution. Squares and pentagons were taking out any isosceles who stood out. There were even reports of triangles killing other triangles who spoke out to their superiors.
I want to know, though. You're a priest, but a priest of what? What is our religion?
That is for us to know, and your distant relatives to find out.
Oh, you mean when my family are finally circles?
Ignorance is the price we must pay for enlightenment.
What good is enlightenment if it happens 200 years after I'm dead?
Questioning.
the will of the land.
Why can't you tell me? What is our religion? What do we believe in? What holds Flatland together?
We must never question the laws of Flatland.
You are a credit to the law and the land.
We must never question the circles.
If Chromatistes were here, she could unite us. But the high circular priesthood were experts at dividing us.
Suppose we're here?
It may not look all that different. There's a crucial change.
What's that?
bad movement through time and confine them to the third dimension. That is why we are so cautious with our contact with the lower dimensions.
I understand that, but...
We can skip anywhere in conceivable time and change it.
You will be confined to second dimensional space.
You will all be confined to four-dimensional space-time.
Can we alter the judge's decisions?
Like in the fifth dimension, we can only go to any existing or reasonably different time branches arising from the same initial conditions. The difference, though, is we can move there directly. No rolling forward or backward. We can skip to any time
I
branch.
see.
We can, however, say...
Chromatistes must be returned to Flatland. Chromatistes must be returned to Flatland. Must be allowed 2 additional time branches. Chromatistes must be returned to Flatland.
It's not working. There's not a lot of room for differentiation.
We'll move earlier in the deliberations.
I was taken here and shown incredible wonders.
No.
I wanted to know. I had to see what was above me.
That's closer.
Our world was confined long ago. People were forbidden to explore the upper dimensions, forbidden to explore color. They were forced to stay content with Flatland, but years later they still wanted to know. We're still curious.
Good, let's move ahead.
Imprisonment in the third dimension?
Yes, and Chromatistes must be returned to Flatland.
We've got to stop this. Get Chromatistes out of there. Okay. We'll be safe here for a while.
What the hell was that? What's going on?
We're at the beginning of time. Even with the fastest time motion devices in the fifth dimension, it will take them at least 4 hours to catch up to our timestamp.
What?
We're operating in the sixth dimension now.
Which is...
Which is not the appropriate word to use in this situation. It is much more appropriate to use when, or some such thing.
When?
Sort of. A when, but a when of all possible whens in our universe.
I don't understand.
Here, we'll show you. In the sixth dimension, we can go from the beginning of our world's time, when we are right now, to the end of our world's time. It is instantaneous. But say the world ended much differently.
How so?
It is possible the world ended in a huge flood.
How is that possible?
Let's see.
But how did this come about? I mean, happen? How did we get here instead of there?
Easy enough to find out. We just roll back the clock.
If we choose to obey the J's and their writ of non-motion, we must also agree to follow the other edicts they decree as well. For example, their decision to roll back the oceans and build further land masses, islands, and peninsulas should be followed as strictly as the writ of stasis and the writ of non-motion.
There you have it.
All things in this universe are possible.
What do you mean in this universe?
Any possible occurrence from the Big Bang to the natural end of our world's time is possible to travel to instantaneously.
You may call this infinity.
Then I suppose that the sixth dimension is infinity. That's it. That's all there is.
Not quite. A few tweaks to our sphere here, and we can adjust our parameters so that we may travel to the
they?
What is that?
It appears our cues are a close parallel in the next dimension.
The council members? Maybe we should take that cube up to the 8th dimension.
Who are you?
I'm Chromatistes.
But you died 1,000 years ago.
In your universe, they did.
In ours, they are alive and taking your place.
You're still in my world, and you're a wise, ultimately cowardly mathematician.
Cowardly?
There's no need to fight about any of this.
Interestingly, these council members are much more curious in this other dimension.
What does that mean?
We all explore in our own dimension.
Perhaps we're living in the wrong dimension.
Yes, our council members are for the most part conservative.
Maybe we should move upward.
To the 8th dimension?
There are many more possible universes there, and the chances of running into a world like our own are slim. Or, well, there are just many more possible worlds, and so we are less likely to run into them.
They're gone.
Yes.
It makes more logical sense. The 7th dimension connected our world to a new universe, and it was likely a similar action would occur in that world, and that we would encounter each other.
And?
Well, here, there are many more universes, and the probability that someone would come into ours as we are deliberating right now is far less likely.
Ah! Friends!
Welcome to where?
Welcome to everywhere! My name is Finir. I'm the interdimensional ambassador to the multiverse. You may refer to it as the 8th dimension. Now, technically, I'm a 9th dimensional creature. I could just go ahead and jump to any conceivable infinity, but you're going to have to travel there.
How long will that take?
Oh, to travel to the nearest infinity? Not long, a couple minutes. But if you really want to get anywhere outside your own neighborhood, I mean really make some distance between yourself and the multiple parallel universes in your neck of the woods, you're going to need some horsepower! Or as they say where I'm from, fatcha power.
Fatcha power?
It means horsepower. Listen, it could take you anywhere from 2 to 3 years to get outside of this obnoxious, tedious, boring grove of parallel universes and finally start seeing some real shit! Oh, well, pardon the expression, I know people from your dimension hate shit.
Are you planning on giving us a ride?
Well, nothing's free here, like anywhere. Listen, when you do finally decide to go up, and I mean all the way up, woo!
How far is all the way up?
Oh God, these 2Ds! All the way up to the 10th dimension. I don't need to tell them, but let me give you a free education. 10D is all there is. It's the top. And when you get to the top, you go right back to the bottom. But it's any bottom possibility you could want.
So what?
So I chose a little wrong. You get 2 choices, and you wind up in both at the same time. It's the one gift of making it to the end.
And you chose the 9th dimension both times?
Yeah, a bad choice. A really bad choice. I can never go down again.
But if you can travel to any dimension possible at any time, would it matter?
Well, that's what I thought. Listen, take me with you, and give me just one of your choices. Not even all of you, just one of you. Just give me one of your choices, and I'll give you a vehicle that can take you anywhere here.
That's okay. Thanks.
What do you mean, that's okay?
We don't need it. Thank you.
Well, of course you need it. How else are you gonna get around?
You think we got here without anything?
Yeah, we're prepared.
I don't like what you're suggesting. We'll be fine without you.
Oh, you think you'll do fine? Do you even know what fine is? You're screwed up here. You're fucked. Good luck, suckers. It's a big, bad universe, and don't expect any help or protection from me. You had your chance, you fucking freaks.
He may have been full of it, but I don't doubt it will take us forever to wade through these seas of parallel universes.
I, for one, would like to get onto some strange other realities.
Strange other realities.
Fantastical worlds only ever dreamed of.
So we're in the world of dreams.
Not quite. A few adjustments to our sphere, and maybe some travel to the 9th dimension. Now we're in the world of dreams.
Where do we go from here?
Full steam ahead.
Oh, if
Floating!
Yes, it seems as if there's no gravity on a world in this universe. And in space, it seems like you can walk around and breathe the air.
Is this air?
Feels like I'm breathing in glue.
Maybe we should return to the planet.
Whoa. Here's as though gravity works in reverse in this dimension.
I suppose it's interesting, but there doesn't seem to be anybody here.
There may be good reason for that.
I cannot sense any life forms in this universe. And it seems the outer reaches of space are most toxic.
Maybe we should go.
Oh, it's so green here. What are these huge people?
It appears to be a complex life form.
What are you?
Are you aliens?
What are you doing in my backyard?
What kind of being are you, anyway?
You're real. You can talk. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh shit.
Could have been friendlier.
Remember Comitisti's first reactions to the sphere?
Well, how many reactions did I have?
Quite a few. You know, we ran thousands of scenarios on you.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, let's move along.
What was that?
It appeared to be a beam of light.
There's another. No, we should really avoid being hit by one of these.
Well, look over there.
There must be a million of them. I think we should duck.
Oh!
No!
What the hell happened? Where am I? Who are you? 143? I know about people like you. You're a static, aren't you? And you made me static too. Static? I've heard fairy tales of people who don't move. You move all the time. Of course I do. Where are you from? Thailand. I've never heard of it.
I think you should see this.
What? Oh my god, what? No!
We'll be back soon.
What have you done? What has your friend done? I'll never regain my space
Who
again.
cares about your speed?
I do. I'll be alone on my planet forever. I'd rather be dead. We have to get to a big dimensional hospital.
I'm afraid you two will be expelled and I will most likely be terminated if we try to go back to the fifth dimension of our universe.
Well, maybe we can go to a parallel universe and go to a parallel fifth dimensional hospital.
It's unlikely that we should find a universe with all the varying possibilities. That would not expel you, but understand your medical needs.
Right. What should we do? What should I do?
It was as if she just appeared out of nowhere. Everyone! Chromatistes has returned!
Listen. There is no religion. There is no enlightenment of the circles. The priesthood exists in a cryptarchy. They rule by secrets. They give hints of something that doesn't exist. You're filling in the God with your minds. But don't despair. We have more than religion could ever give us. We exist in the world of dreams. Flatland is only one of those dreams. We can bring in color and texture. We can be irregular. Irregularity is more beautiful than symmetry could ever be. Not only that, but there is more to space and time than we could ever see. We may not recognize it, but it is there. Sight recognition is a pointless science. I plead to the upper polygons, leave the academy! Stop trying to recognize and start learning to dream! Think of it. Sight recognition only works so long as we are symmetrical. If we put as much value on irregularity of shape, it would be useless. Color and texture could be more important. But that's only the tip of the iceberg.
But how do we breathe for irregularity?
Symmetry is a dream. It's a dream from which we can easily wake up. We treat irregular shapes as outcasts so naturally they are not bred into society. Wake up! If we exist in a world of dreams, dream more. Wake up from this colorless dream where we can only go one direction, where we can only go up. When you reach the top the way that my family did, you realize there is nothing there. It is hollow. I am urging us all to stop. Stop perpetuating this type of society and don't dream while you're asleep. Dream while you're awake.
You trying us there. Kill Chromatistes. Kill her now!
No one will kill Chromatistes!
He will give anyone who kills Chromatistes octagonal pay for the rest of their lives.
Just think of it. You and your family could go to the Sight Recognition Academy.
I'm still with like outcasts.
Killed half the life for the decagon.
The circle.
You had your chance.
They disappeared. Chromatistes vanished from our universe, never to return. The mysterious disappearance reminded us all that we may very well live in the world of dreams. A short coup followed the insurrection. There were more than enough of us to take control of Flatland once the police and military turned. It was a strange new universe, still corrupt. Now the corruptions were out in the open. The military took control and were challenged by the police, who exposed their secrets. The police were then challenged by the people. A young hexagon rose to the position of arbiter. In fact, it was she who ended the coup and created a visarchy, ruling by transparency. My daughter even ended up marrying a dodecagon.
Chromatistes! You chose to come back to the 5th dimension?
Yes. When I got the choice in the 10th dimension, I chose here.
Why?
No one will listen to me in Flatland. And no one will listen to you here. I chose to come somewhere where I might make a difference.
You could have done that from the 9th dimension as well.
But then I might run into that veneer and I didn't like them so much.
Violates the law. We don't want to imprison you.
But we must preserve order.
All time will be rolled back on Flatland. All intervention will be removed from the timeline. The two of you will have your time branching revoked and your motion forward and backward through time. You will be confined to a single, fixed, forward-moving timeline and a 3-dimensional space for the rest of your natural lives.
This case is closed. in Flatland.
They chose to live in Flatland.
For similar reasons as you, I presume.
I suppose so. So now,
For now, you get to work.